I never imagined the night would end the way it did. I never saw myself becoming that guy. The one with a heartbreak story people whisper about. The kind you hear late at night from bitter strangers in dive bars, or scrolling through anonymous confession threads online. But that's exactly where life took me. One night was all it took to shatter everything I thought I knew about my wife, my marriage, my reality. It started off like any other weekend. She told me she had a bachelorette party to attend. Something simple, chill, just drinks and dancing with the girls. She said it like it was routine, even laughed a little and told me not to wait up. "We'll probably be out late," she said, throwing the words over her shoulder as she grabbed her purse. I nodded, not thinking too deeply about it. But she looked different that night. Not just beautiful, too beautiful. Her red dress was tighter than usual, shorter too. Her heels looked like they belonged on a red carpet, not in a crowded club. Her hair was freshly styled, her makeup flawless, her perfume thick enough to leave a trail in the air long after she walked out the door. A little voice whispered in the back of my mind, asking me why she was dressed like that for a night with friends. I ignored it. Still, something felt off. Maybe it was the way she avoided eye contact on her way out. Maybe it was that she didn't kiss me goodbye. She always did, even if she was just going to the grocery store. Whatever it was, it crawled under my skin and wouldn't let go. I sat in the living room for a while, the TV on mute, my thoughts louder than any movie could have been. I tried to shake the feeling off. I trusted her, or at least I told myself I did. But trust has a way of cracking when silence starts to scream louder than words. Eventually, I reached for her iPad. She never turned off the sync feature. I watched the little location appear on a map, and it wasn't at any bar or club. It was a house. Just a regular house in the suburbs. Not a public venue. Not part of the plan she'd told me. I tried to stay calm. Maybe it was a pregame. Maybe they were starting the night at someone's place before heading out. I kept refreshing. 1 hour passed. Then another. Still the same location. Still that house. And that's when my stomach dropped. I grabbed my keys and left. The drive over is carved into my memory with perfect, painful clarity. Every turn, every red light. My hands were locked on the steering wheel, white-knuckled. My heart beat so violently I could feel it in my throat. I wasn't sure what I'd find. Part of me hoped I was wrong. The other part it already knew. I pulled up to the house and saw the truth before I even walked in. Cars were packed on both sides of the street. Music thundered through the windows, heavy bass shaking the glass. Shadows moved behind the curtains. It wasn't a small get-together. It was a full-blown party. I walked up the driveway, each step heavier than the last. I felt like I was walking into a nightmare, like something was waiting for me inside that would change everything. Some guy I'd never seen before opened the door. He was drunk, grinning, red Solo cup in hand. "Yo, you made it, man. Come in." He clapped me on the back like we were best friends, like I belonged there. I stepped inside. The air was thick with sweat, perfume, alcohol, and something else. Something rotten beneath all the fun. People danced, shouted, kissed, stumbled. I moved through the house like a stranger in a dream, searching every face for hers. I checked the kitchen, the living room, the backyard. Nothing. Then I saw a hallway. Dim, quiet. A single door at the end, cracked open just enough. My heart tried to warn me. Everything inside me screamed to turn around. But I didn't. I kept walking. I opened the door. And there she was, naked, on a bed, with a man who wasn't me. They froze the moment they saw me, like deer caught in headlights. She reached for a sheet, eyes wild with panic and guilt. She opened her mouth, maybe to say my name, maybe to apologize, maybe to lie again, but I didn't hear any of it. I just turned around. No words, no anger, just silence. I drove home in the kind of stillness that feels like it might rip you apart. My hands didn't stop shaking until I was back in our bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed that used to feel like home. But nothing felt like home anymore. I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I just sat there, staring at the floor, replaying the moment over and over again until the sun came up. She walked through the door the next morning, makeup ruined, eyes red, voice trembling. She tried to speak, to explain, to justify, to beg, but I wasn't listening anymore. I had already printed the divorce papers. I gave her 30 minutes. 30 minutes to pack her things. 30 minutes to erase herself from the home we built together. 30 minutes to leave the life she burned to the ground. She tried to say it was a mistake, that she was drunk, that it didn't mean anything. But it meant something to me. It meant everything. I kicked her out of the house, out of my life, out of the future I once imagined waking up next to. And I don't regret it, not a single moment, because no matter how sharp it cuts, the truth is cleaner than any lie. And I'd rather bleed in truth than rot in betrayal. Let her lie to herself if she wants to. But I won't. I saw what I needed to see. I found the closure I didn't know I was looking for. And in that moment, I learned something that I'll never forget. Love is fragile. Trust is sacred. And betrayal, once tasted, poisons everything.